Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Crank Addict, and this is the channel for crank addicts like me and hopefully like you. Today we're going to try to put air conditioning in this Jimmy. This Jimmy came factory equipped with AC, but since we did the LS swap, things have changed around. I don't have any hoses or anything. I've got a universal condenser out front, and here comes the rain. And I've got brand new AC stuff under the dash. So follow along and let's see if we can get this truck together. Alright guys, well I bought a few things off eBay. I just have a bunch of these old air conditioning line sleeves left over from an old project I had. So those were free, I guess. I must have a brand new compressor. Don't want to mess with the rebuilt unit. So we'll see how this guy does. And let's see here. Oh, this has the wrong output. Alright, well it's gonna be an issue. Because I bought this little adapter for my old compressor, but it's not going to work with this new compressor. This is supposed to be fitting like 98 through 2003 models, I believe, with the single spacing with a bolt in the middle. Around 2003, they went to this other style. So we had two different separate bolts holding these pieces in. Now I actually have some pieces hanging around I might be able to use. This will be nice if I can. This is from a 2004 truck. Yeah. So that'll go in there. Of course, this line is pretty tall. And let's see here. I don't know if this will fit the other side or not. Well, it will fit the other side, but it's going completely the wrong direction here, I think. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe I'll go back to my, this is the low side. This is going to go to my accumulator, so that might be okay. Okay, so this may work for me. And should have some more fittings here. I'm probably not going to use all these fittings because, like I said, I wasn't expecting to have received the wrong compressor. Got the valve, got some AC line, I might need more. And a box full of fittings, again. We'll see how that goes. There's not enough room between the radiator and the engine, you know, the crank pulley, the power steering pulley, the idler, all that stuff is just like an inch too narrow for the compressor to fit through from the bottom. So I threaded it up. That's a big issue with these square bodies, is that the C-channel frame is a little narrow for these accessories. Several companies make high mount AC compressor brackets so you can relocate your AC compressor to the top of the engine, but that just looks bad. I don't want to see my AC compressor when I open up the hood of my truck. Of course, that's the way it's been since ages, right? And these trucks were brand new. You pop the hood, there was that AC bracket right there hanging off to the side. Alright, well it seems to go in there. Good. That's good. So the mounting bolts are the same, even though the line attachments are different. Okay. Oh, crud. Well, here is the compressor. And This line I think is going to be okay. I think it just peels off and heads this direction. But that bottom line, there is no way I'm going to get to that lower line there without cutting a big old notch in my frame. Now a lot of people will notch their frame, but you're going to lose a lot of frame strength. And since this is a four-wheel drive truck, you know, the front leaf spring pickup point is that way, and that could be a big issue. Well, nobody sells a bracket to move this thing around, so let's see if we can make our own. Okay, well, I'm going to snake this compressor back out through the front again. Around the pulleys, around the fans. There we go. All right, time for an introductory montage. Alright, well, let's clean this up. We're not going to need this right now. Alright. Alright, well, this is an LS6 engine, 5.7 liters, 405 horsepower, 10,000 miles on this bad boy, and I'm going to use this for my LS platform since I don't have another LQ9 sitting around the shop here. So I'm going to rotate this over. Right, and I'm going to pull that bracket off the truck and we're going to put it on here and we'll see what we can do about getting things to fit up. Yeah, this poor Corvette hit an untimely demise, otherwise known as a wall. Hardly any miles on it. Kind of sad, but stuff like that happens on the track. I do have the rocker arms pulled off. I stole them for the Jimmy many moons ago. So there's no way anything can get into the cylinders from these exhaust ports, but I just want to make sure that I keep everything clean. Because I may have to do some grinding around here. We'll see. Maybe. Alright, so this is the truck bracket here. And it's not quite the same as this one here. I'm missing a boss in the block. This is an aluminum block and the truck has an iron block. So the blocks are slightly different. One of the challenges I'm going to have with this mock-up is that, well, two. One, I don't have a harmonic balancer on this engine because the original broke when the radiator unfortunately hit it. And two, since this is a Corvette engine, it has Corvette accessories, so the spacing is different. So I'm going to have to figure out how to handle that. Alright, here is the truck compressor. I'll set that on there for now. Use some power tools. All right, so I know where this groove needs to sit, kind of, sort of. So I know where this groove is going to be sitting in relation to everything else here. I can use a straight edge on it to make sure everything is straight, and that looks really good there. Yeah, I have no qualms about this. So that is the correct location here. I should make sure this compressor is the same size as the other compressor. That might be important. Because if the housings are different, this may not work. Comparing these two compressors here, yeah, same case length. So this should work. This is the same, both holes are the same. This is gonna work. Mexico is getting a lot of rain right now. Okay, so I need to make myself a bracket first. And I've put a couple of holes in here. I think this will be far enough out to support the compressor. I'm keeping the edge in line with my oil pan. I'm thinking that's going to be parallel with the crankshaft. All right, so I've got this 3/8 inch plate steel. That'll be plenty strong for a bracket. And yeah, just using 2 bolt holes may allow this thing to wobble around a little bit under load. So I'm probably going to have to triangulate this thing with, see, I got an engine mount here, so I can't use these bolts. So probably I'll try triangulate it with one of these up on top. Maybe this back one here. That'll give me the most security, I think, to this plate rocking. All right, and bam, just like that, I've got a plate. That's a different size bolt. I'm going to use this old compressor here because it is locked up in its junk. And since I got a new one, I can't use it for a core. And so my goal here is to move this thing, rotate it. I went ahead and marked the rear case position here. So it should be right about there. Okay. There's a chunk of metal here on the aluminum block. I don't know if this is on the iron block or not, but if it is, I'll deal with it later. If I was going to be using this LS6 block, I'd be chopping this chunk out of there, but it's fine for now. Alright. So that's the back position. And the front is off. So I'm going to have to play around with this thing a little bit more to get this in the correct position before I weld on any tabs or anything. Okay, I'm going to use this piece of towel here. It's kind of a cushion. That might give me a small air gap between the compressor and the bracket. I only need a little bit, you know, 1/16 of an inch, just so that it doesn't vibrate too much. All right, and that's a good position there. Let's check that out again here. Oh, that is off. Okay. Alright, so this is the approximate location where I need it. So I need to build some standoffs to mount these mounting lugs to my 3/8" plate. I've got some 1-inch square stock. I'm just going to drill a hole in the middle, tap it, and we'll use that for mounting. It's still actually drilled and tapped a lot easier than I thought it would. I hate drilling and tapping metal. I always have issues. But it actually worked pretty well today. It's not too bad. Probably could have done better on this back one here, but I can fill that in with weld for now and reinforce it later. Not a bad first guess. So, but I need one more on the other side. So how am I going to do that? I think I need to extend my plate out a little bit more and run a small block down there. All right. There we go. So try not to bump my compressor too much here. Oh, one thing I should mention is in order to get the rotation, let's see, there's the compressor like that. I had to chop off this ear in order to get it to spin around, or else you can't do anything, because this ear here mounts pretty much directly to the engine block, so you got to cut it in order to spin it. So it is what it is. All right, so I need to make up a couple more pieces of steel. My original blank mounting bracket that I cut up is gonna be too narrow, so I'm gonna extend it here, here, and back there. Okay, well, I had to remove the compressor in order to weld this bracket on place. So here we go, and we hope it works. Okay, so just by trial and error and checking the plumbness and the squareness. I think I finally got this bracket where I want it to be, so I'm gonna give it a little tack right down underneath there, and then I'll have to build something for this other side. Okay, so now I'm going to tack this other bracket in place. Okay, so here's my compressor here on the Jimmy, and this is the crank pulley, and it looks pretty good, but not quite. Let's see here, if I put this piece of aluminum up in there, maybe I can put it on the, let's see how I can do this. No easy way, come on. Two hands, there we go. Okay, two hands in. All right, so it's on the back of the crank pulley here. And there, oh man, it's a little bit far. Which this crank pulley is a pretty big, about 1/8 inch flange on it. And this is an 1/8 inch, so I'm gonna guess I am 1/8, maybe 3/16 too far forward with my compressor. So I'm gonna pull everything back out and see what it's gonna take to adjust it just a little bit backwards. Okay, well, the modified bracket is already installed, so I'm gonna drop the compressor back down in here, and we'll see how it lines up with the pulley. Okay, so I've got the aluminum stick in there again. And remember, I got like a 1/8 inch over here because this pulley has a certain amount of thickness. But when I bring it up here, oh boy, I've got less than an 1/8 inch gap, which is probably just about perfect considering the thickness of here versus there. So I think I got it nailed. That looks really good. All right, so I'm gonna pull this thing here back off, and we will figure out how to attach an idler pulley to this bracket. All right, well, I put the compressor back on the bracket, back on the LS6 engine. I just wanna make sure everything fits right because I gotta support this bracket a little better. I want to build a brace that goes from this bolt here down to this edge here. And that's going to keep this thing here from wobbling around as much. Right now, with these bolt holes, it may tend to flex this way side to side, so having a little extra rigidity up here will help to triangulate it. There's one option though, is to run another bolt from, or a bracket from here down to here. That could help give it more frontal rigidity because this will tend to flex around here. Alright, so this is my solution for the support bracket. I didn't have a big enough piece of 1/4 inch, so I had to weld two pieces together to get the width that I needed. But I went and cut it, bent it. I'm going to weld across here for support, weld it all the way across here, and then I'm going to have this support piece. It's going to get welded in on this side there. So that's going to be a nice little triangulation that's going to support the back side and the front side all at once, because this bolt hole here isn't really accessible once you have the compressor in place. You know, when you rotate the compressor, that's covered up. So one bolt hole is going to do all that. So yes, I'm going to have to eventually cut the ear off this new compressor and use this one for a try-in. Hopefully all my hoses will work here. These are the ones I chopped them down. So hopefully these hoses will fit the chassis. We'll see. Well, let's look at this idler pulley now. If I bolt this idler pulley, I gotta drill a hole for this little pin here somewhere. But let me just slide it to the side for now. If I bolt it right to this metal bracket here, my spacing is gonna be off by quite a bit. I'm gonna say 1/4 inch. Which means I gotta recess this bracket into this metal. I'm gonna take a nice little chunk of it out. All right, so got my 3 holes drilled. Okay, and I'm just gonna go here. I'm still gonna have to notch it a little bit. This thing overhangs that piece, so I'm gonna have to notch this bottom piece no matter what. Let's mark that. Let's see how we do. Need a little more. I'm not quite deep enough, well, far enough in. Alright, so you can see I gouged the block pretty good there. I even rounded the idler a little bit myself. But I'm going to put that in there now. You guys can see that there. We're lining up. So now I just need to weld these 2 blocks here together and then cut off the excess. Easy. Alright guys, here it is, the finished bracket. Everything still bolts up to it. I did a final weld on the back side, so I'm letting it cool down. But it is ready for a coat of primer and paint and to install on the Jimmy. But this video is getting a little bit longer, so you'll have to wait around till the next episode for that one. And we'll do all the other stuff, the AC compressors and all that stuff as well. So anyway. Thanks for watching. I'll get you a couple more pictures of this bracket before I shut down. So in case you guys want to copy it, feel free to. Thanks.